Hi, and welcome to the orientation to your new ActivPanel. Wanted to let you know that this will just be a brief intro to get you functioning the same way that you're used to with your existing Active board. Basically, we used our Active boards to display what was on our PC. My PC is already turned on, logged in, and I want to show you how to get it up here displaying on my ActivPanel. To start off with, you have what's called your center console here at the bottom. All right, so we're going to look at each of the buttons there, basically to turn it on. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but my power button right now is red. That just means that it's off. So if I hit it, it comes on. You can see it's a very quick on-off with these. And so now the power button is lit white colored. Okay, no, it is not 3:24 a.m. We'll fix those as we go along. This is just what's called your home screen. And not much happens here. It's just kind of like the holding place until you tell it what you want to do from here. The next two buttons in the center console that you'll see, you have your volume buttons to increase and decrease the volume. These ActivPanels have built-in speakers on them, so we will be eventually removing the speakers from your classroom, as well as removing the amp and eventually the projector as well. Most likely those items will disappear over the summer. In the center of your center console, you have the Promethean flame, which we're used to seeing up in the upper left-hand corner of the Active boards, but on the ActivPanels, they're right here in the center, and they kind of serve a different purpose. So when I push that button, it opens up what's called my unified menu, and we're going to look at that in more detail in just a minute. Okay, so that opens up my unified menu. The next button is a freeze button. It looks like a snowflake to freeze my screen. And then I also have a touch icon. Notice that when I pushed it, I now have this icon here saying that my touch has been disabled. So because if you're standing close to the board, then sometimes you might want it to be disabled so you don't accidentally. They're very responsive, so even just bumping it with your elbow or something like that, or if you want to turn the touch off altogether for some reason, then you do have that option. So anytime you see that icon, it means that the touch feature is not functional at the moment. And you'll just push that button again to make it go away. The last icon is probably the one that you're most interested in today. So to the far right on the center console, you have what is called our source input. So when I push that, notice that my unified menu opened up. And it's because the source icon is also in my unified menu as well. So the source button is here, but it's also in my unified menu. And from here, you can see I'm on my home screen. That's why we have the circle around it. But if I pick HDMI here, it's going to now display my PC over there. So there, that's all I needed to do to now be able to run my PC up here on the ActivPanel. Everything is touch. You can use your finger, or in your room, you should also see, and I'm not sure where they are in this room, I'll grab them in a minute here. You should have a box in your room as well that has 4 pens in it. In addition, it will have an eraser in it. And so just a couple things that you can use with your board. But like we said, you don't have to use the pen, you can just use your finger. All right, so I now can open up the web. I can also open up ActivInspire flip charts, anything like that that I've been typically using. Everything works now just the same as what you're used to. Once you have your PC connected to your board, there are some other options for you on here because the ActivPanel functions like a smartphone or like a large tablet or a smart TV. So it can run apps all on its own as well that are not dependent upon your PC in your room. For that, this is where the universal menu comes into play, and I'm going to switch back temporarily to my home screen just because with it being blue, it's a little bit easier for you to see the universal menu. So we said that if I push my Promethean flame here, it's going to pull up the universal menu. And I also can, though, swipe this arrow here at the bottom. The arrow also exists over here. You can also just tap on the arrow and it's going to pull it out. So you have the same menu in 4 different places. The same menu will come up whether you hit the flame. There's an arrow on this side, an arrow on this side, and also an arrow at the bottom. So no matter where you are, you can either just touch it or swipe it out either way. Okay. Now, I put my menu here. Let's go to this one because it'll be easier for you guys to see without me blocking it. So I put my menu as being what's called large mode, so that it's a little bit bigger so that you could see it easier in the video. So within this menu, this allows me to do things that are not dependent upon the PC. All right, so, and again, like I said, we're just going to get into a few of them today, and we'll do more when we do our training over the summer and at the very beginning of next year. So in this menu here, I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit. I'm going to start actually on the right-hand side and work my way backwards. The recent apps icon, I don't have any recent apps, but think of like your phone when you have multiple apps open and you can go back to one that you were using a little while ago. All right, and I'll show you that again once we have a few apps open. Then you also have screen share. What screen share is it does allow us to, and anytime that you see these types of messages, you're always going to allow, okay? So what screen share allows us to do is that other devices can connect to your panel. Your panel itself has a Wi-Fi module. I will tell you that the installers are not connecting them to the Wi-Fi. We will go around and we will get them connected to the Wi-Fi eventually. Right now, we're just looking to get the PC connected to the boards so that you can function, like I said, as you're used to functioning. But I still wanted to mention this today. So I still need to, as you can see, get my panel connected to the internet itself. But just to kind of give you an idea of how it works, your students' Chromebooks or your Chromebook, or if you have a laptop, any device can connect to your board wirelessly. And you can have up to 39 devices join what's called your waiting room, where you then can just go to the waiting room and say, okay, I want this student's screen up here. And then their screen will be displayed up here on the board, or excuse me, on the panel. Trying to get used to using the proper term. These ones are panels, not boards. So that student screen will be up here. You can actually select up to 4 screens at the same time and have 4 student screens up here. Okay, so that is an option. And so basically they just need this code to connect to and to get into your waiting room. So it's kind of a neat thing, but like I said, that'll be down the road. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail later on. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. In my menu now, again, working left to right, or right to left, excuse me. Source, we already saw that. Okay, I'm on my home. I can go back to my HDMI. And in fact, I'm going to do that to show you my next icon. My next icon is what's called the Annotate. So with ActivInspire, we used the Annotate over Desktop feature. Right now, though, it's built right into your unified menu so that it's quick, easy access. And they chose specific apps to go into that they thought that you would use frequently. So I am going to switch back to my PC and I'm going to use this Annotate feature to write over top of a website. So it could be a website, it could be your existing ActivInspire flip charts, it could be a PDF that you have pulled up on your PC, anything like that, okay? So this website that I actually pulled up, this is something that was sent to you previously when Dr. Wolfram sent you the option to sign up for the summer trainings. Then he included this in there, but I'll also attach it with this video in the email that we're going to send with this video, because they have a great video library of how to do all the different things. Their videos are better than mine, trust me. But if I scroll down here right on the main page that we're going to send you to, you'll notice that we are at the Titanium model, which is the better model. So Titanium model, and they have, like this right here, has 46 videos that just walk you through what you would need to know about the Titanium model ActivPanel. And they are short little ones. So if you wanted a review of the unified menu, it's here. If you want to run down on how to use your remote, because any of these items that are in the center console can be done from your remote as well. So they just have lots of information in here. And like I said, they're short little videos. So if you want to go back and just, oh wait, how did Heather say to do this? You can just watch their videos if you want to. Like I said, I really do like their videos. They do a nice job of them and they update them frequently. So that's a good thing as well. All right, so again, on my unified menu, I have an Annotate option that as soon as I click it, it gives me this menu here. I can grab and drag it around wherever I need it so it's out of the way. All right, I have a pen, a highlighter. Then there's an icon to erase the entire board or just to erase something specific. And of course, you can change colors. If you press and hold, it'll give you a choice as to how wide you want your pen to be. All right, so now I can, circle something on here or draw arrows to it or anything like that. All right, this is like temporary annotations. They don't save. As soon as you either erase them or close out the annotate feature, then those go away. All right, and another thing I want to show you before we go on is that you do have the option of hiding and revealing these annotations. There's a little eyeball right here. So if I click on the eyeball, those annotations didn't go away. They're just hidden. So I can click the eyeball again and they'll come back. If I want to save this image, the other item in my unified menu that's really nice is this capture icon. So if I just click capture, it now took a picture of my entire screen. I can crop it down to just the portion of the page that I want, okay, if I need to crop. And then I will say done. All right, so it's showing me this is your cropped image, and I can now open it in the whiteboard, which is the next app in the unified menu that we're going to take a look at. So I can open that image now over in my whiteboard space. And we haven't talked about the whiteboard yet, but just to show you, it does exist here in my unified menu as well. And this is a fantastic whiteboard because it is an infinite canvas. What that means is that it goes on and on and on and on. You are not limited to, we used to have the whiteboard. Most of us have your active board was mounted on top of your whiteboard in your room, and now your active panel is probably mounted on top of your whiteboard, but you were limited as to your whiteboard space that you had available. This one allows us to, I want to make sure I'm on my right icon here. I can drag this down, so put my picture right into my whiteboard space. I can drag that down out of the way, and I can go ahead and use this whiteboard space now to write on, okay, anything that I need to. And I can then drag that back up again. I'm going to go back to my select tool so that I can drag my picture back up again. My picture didn't go away, nor did my writing go away. And that's what the infinite canvas means, is that it can be as big as you want it to be. When I'm dragging this, up here in the upper right-hand corner of my panel, you can see that it has these red lines around the picture that's being shown here right now, and you can see my picture down below. Hang on one second, guys. I'm going to mute my PC so that you're not hearing all those dingings coming in. Hang on. Sorry about that. That's our tech staff chat going on. There's a lot going on today. Those guys are working really hard to get everything set up, and that's our best way of communicating back and forth during this. So sorry for the dinging in the background there. So hopefully you won't be able to hear that anymore. All right, so basically what I was trying to show you is that here is where you can tell this was my image that we saved, that image that we captured from the web, and then here's my scribbles up above, so you can kind of see, that we're moving things up and down. All right, the other thing that you can do, these are all pinch to zoom. You can make them bigger or smaller by, pinch to zoom. All right. The same thing is true of just like that. I was doing my entire canvas, making it larger or smaller, but you can also do that with specific images as well. Okay, so pinch to zoom is fantastic in the whiteboard. If I want to get rid of this image, I just press and hold on it, and then it gives me a trash can, and I can just get rid of it. All right. Now, if I wanted to get rid of this, what I can do is I can, over here on my menu, I have an icon that allows me to clear the entire board. All right, so a couple other things in that particular menu that are helpful. You have a dual person, looks like two people standing side by side. When you click on that, it's going to split your board in two, okay? So I now can have student A on one side and student B on the other side. They can each pick a different color, and they can each be working up here at the same time. Now, I can still go over onto your side, and you can come over onto my side, but you can just tell it with the color choice. All right, there's no way of really preventing them from going onto each other's, but it allows them both to work on there at the same time. And these panels actually have what they call 20 points of touch. So you could have 20 kids up here at the same time writing on the board. I don't know why you'd ever do that, especially now when we have to socially distance, right? But anyways, so we can clear all that off. There's the pen, there's the highlighter, changing of colors, a palette so that you can pick even yet another color if you wanted to. and then erasing. The last thing on here, and you'll see this in the side menu also for the entire whiteboard, is there are a few math tools. So I can pull up a ruler that I can, move around. That also can be, resized and rotated and things of that sort. All right, so different math tools there for you. All right, to get out of the dual mode, you're just simply going to click on the dual mode again, and it comes back. All right. All right, sorry about that, guys. So the other thing that is interesting in this menu, so you've already seen the dual mode. They also have backgrounds, and I'm actually going to move. I'm going to move my toolbar. You have a choice of putting the toolbar on that side or this side. I'm going to move it over to this side. So the three dots at the very top, you have toolbar position, and it'll move it over to the other side there. That's a little bit easier for me. So the next one down would be backgrounds. Okay, so for the backgrounds, you have lined paper, you have graph paper, all sorts of different things that you might possibly need. And once you get it up there, I know you guys can't see that, so I'm also going to click on it again, and I'm going to make the lines black so that it's a little bit easier to see. So whether this was graph paper or lined paper or anything like that, then you can change the color of the lines as well. And these two are pinch to zoom, bigger, smaller. Okay. Underneath that, I'm going to change my background back to just plain. Oh, and by the way, you can just pick a color too. So if you wanted, a different colored background, you certainly can do that as well. The images icon here, you will it'll ask you to allow access to your images. But in here, they have some charts and templates for you that are pre-made. There's not a whole ton of them, but there are a few in here that as you scroll through, if you find something that you like, then you can use. I'm just going to throw a Venn diagram in here. So you just click on it and it's there. Of course, you can make it bigger or smaller. I got to keep it straight. All right. So now I can write all over this. Okay. And again, I'm using my capture tool in my unified menu if I want to take a picture of this. Okay. So that was inside of the images icon and under the charts and templates. All right. So let's go back. All right. Moving down. If you want to move things around or to pinch to zoom, you always have to be on the arrow or the select tool. Then you have your pen, your highlighter. As we previously briefly mentioned, I think, you just press and hold on that tool to be given choice as to how thick you want the line to be. All right. The palette, erasing simple things and erasing my entire board. Now, if I erase the entire board, that only erases the annotations. It does not erase images. So because this was an image, I will press on it and, oops, hang on, I've got to be on my select tool, press and hold and let go. And it should give me, there we go, a trash can that I can just get rid of it. All right. Math tools are still here just as they were in the split screen, the dual mode. All right, so you do have all of those different options. So that's your whiteboard space. So it's nice to be able to pull that up. But like I said, most of us are going to be functioning a lot just by simply switching our source over to our PC. All right, so we looked at the screen share, the source, the annotate, the capture, and the whiteboard. Recent apps, the only recent app that I've used is my whiteboard space. We'll get to a couple more here in just a second, just to show you. But say I was back over on my HDMI, because I promised you I'd come back and show you the recent apps icon. So if I were over here back again on my computer, then what I can do if I go to recent apps, I can very quickly get back over to my whiteboard. Okay, so fast, easy access for that. Your home button, not a whole lot going on there. We said that one was just simply your time. Okay, not a lot going on there. Now I want to talk about the owner. So these boards have the ability for us to create multiple profiles on them. If you're familiar with like an Android tablet or something like that, where you can create multiple profiles, and you can in fact even put in a security code to lock down certain profiles so that other people can't access your profile. These do have multiple profiles on them, but we are not going to be utilizing the multiple profiles at the moment. The owner profile we are going to keep for substitute teachers and things of that sort, but we will eventually show you how to customize your own profile and how you can log into all of your Google Classroom and your Google Drive and Gmail and stuff like that all from here and leave it logged in, but yet you can put a security code on there so that nobody else can get on and access that. So we're going to kind of skip the owner for right now. Lastly, then, we just want to look inside of the locker. We said that this is like a tablet or like a phone, so there are apps pre-installed. They pulled a few of the most important apps that they thought that you would use frequently, and they put them right into your unified menu. So you're used to seeing the whiteboard and the annotate. All right, and screen share is also down there too. I wanted to show you real quick, we do have a timer and a spinner in here, so you can pull those up as well. They are customizable, and you can have up to 4 of them at a time. So you can see here I have a timer that's been pulled up. The timer has the clock, a timer, or a stopwatch, so you have choices there. And they're fully customizable. Okay, you can make it go full screen if you wanted to, all right? Or like I said, you can do multiple at the same time. All right, then again, back to my locker, just to show you, they have a spinner in here too. They have got some presets in there for colors and for, and again, it's just right here at the bottom. Colors and names you can put in your class list, your class roster if you wanted to, so you can add new ones as well, all right? So you would have that. All right, so you just, spin your spinner. All right, so you've got, and again, like we said, you can have up to 4 of them at a time. So now, in my locker, the other items in there really aren't that super important right now, but it does have multiple screens for you in there. The last thing that is important inside of the locker is the settings gear. And in the settings gear, here you can adjust the volume. But again, we said in your center console, you have your volume as well. The brightness, notice I have my brightness turned way down because of the fact that I was recording. It was very, very bright in the recording. So I have the brightness turned way down and it shows up nicely in the video. But you could, adjust your brightness as well. You can see it got kind of washed out there. So, and you're going to be close to these boards all day, so maybe dimmer is better. I don't know. Palm mode, I would highly recommend turning on palm mode. What this allows me to do, I'm going to go to my recent apps. You can see that in my recent apps, I've got all the different apps that I've done. If I'm in my whiteboard, all right, I'm just going to close these out. If I am in my whiteboard and I have written all over this here, okay, and I want to very quickly erase everything, but not the entire board, I can, when I have palm mode turned on, my palm, basically the side of my hand, it's not really your palm, but the side of your hand becomes like a big eraser, okay? And we said that in your box, in your room, you should also have an eraser there as well. But that's what, inside of the settings, that's what palm mode was. All right, we don't need that right now, hang on. All right, so the second pen mode, what this does, this one is on by default for yours. It means that on the pen that came with the board, or with the panel, excuse me, one end will be to write with, the other end when you flip it over is an eraser, but it's a really skinny eraser, so I don't know. It didn't work out so hot for me. I like the palm. Normal mode or large mode. So that was another thing. I told you guys that I made my unified menu larger. You can see now that I went back to the normal mode. It's smaller. Okay, so some people like that to be a little bit bigger. Again, that's in my settings, and you can go to large mode there. Okay, that's really the most important things. That's probably more than what you needed to know to get you going for today. But those are just some of the things that we wanted to talk to you about as far as things that you would easily and quickly be able to access. So again, your panel is off. You just hit that power button. I would just go straight to my source, straight to my HDMI, and then it's going to run just like what you're used to. But again, like I said, we wanted to show you just a few more things that you could utilize right away. If you have questions, then yes, please reach out and let me know how I can help. And then we will line up some more trainings for you guys as the year progresses, as the summer goes on and we get ready for the fall. So good luck. Thank you.